We're here to talk through this Aqre puzzle by Eric Fox called Spiral Galaxy. It's got a nice symmetric shape through rotation and actually some similar cages. The upper left corner and the lower right corner look like they have the same starting clues with a 5 and a 0. Around the 5, we've marked 3 shaded cells in a row, so we've got to mark this off. That shades this in for connectivity, but that still marks this off. That shades this in, marks this off. Connectivity takes this, and not having 4 unshaded in a row marks in this, and the same thinking works up in this corner. Gotta shade this, but can't get 4 in a row. Shade this, not 4 in a row. Shade this, and not 4 in a row. So this is a good start to the grid. It also sets up these unshaded blocks that have to be marked in, and that looks like it sets up the most tension around this 3 clue, but we'll see it's somewhat similar around this 9 clue. So this 3 clue now has 2 of its 3 shaded cells marked, and this whole stretch can't be unshaded. So what you can deduce is one of these 2 cells must be shaded. If we're like this cell, I'm leaving behind 4 that are unshaded. So one of these 2 is what's shaded. All of these are unshaded. And in doing that, I have this stretch that has to at least take this cell to get further through the grid. So I can mark this in for this left side to get some progress. I can also come all the way down here to the bottom and see that after I marked off this cell, this cage, which needs to shade 3, has exactly 3 cells to be shaded, so that comes quickly. And this corner can't be all unshaded, so I at least have to get into this corner, and that means I have to take this cell, and it has to have a path out. So this looks like a good start. Let's think about this cell here. Can this come straight down and connect to this? No. And connect kitty corner through this? No. I have only one more cell to go. So this group and this group don't connect through these cells. They're going to have to come through this part of the grid. And this connection that gets you this cell and this cell is a key intermediate deduction to really make progress in this puzzle. And marking those in gives me a 3 in a row stretch, so not 4, gives me this stretch, not 4. It's going to mark in this cell. This still has to connect to this group, so it's going to have to connect through this cell, and that marks off this cell, marks in this cell. And we get to this stage of the grid as we're going to have to think through more. Let's come now to this 9 clue. And we hadn't looked at this at the same time we looked at the 3, but honestly you could make similar deductions at that moment because this has 7 cells left shade of the 8 that are here. So 1 is left unshaded, and the unshaded cell in the same way down here is going to have to be in one of these. So we can shade these and these quickly. Intercepting this clue to the left actually means this must be the unshaded one. This is the shaded one. These get marked in. And all those shaded cells now put another kind of constraint into the grid for connectivity. So look at this cell. The cell can come left or it can come right, but it can't do both. And if it goes right, if it does something like this, it's going to mark off that cell because of 3 in a row rule, but that's going to keep this bottom right of the grid from connecting to the upper left of the grid in any way. So instead of going to the right, this goes to the left, and knowing that, this group up here has to escape through the top side because it can't connect down to the bottom. But 3 in a row, no 4 in a row, that has to come up to here. That marks off these cells, and we no longer can reach to this corner. This has to extend over here. 3 in a row, no 4 in a row puts in that cell, completing the 1 cage. This goes to here, but can't extend further, has to come down, marks this off. Connectivity requires this cell, marks this off. And so now we're really at the end stage of this puzzle of figuring out how do we get this side to work. And now that we've got all these cells marked, notice if I shaded this cell, which is going to unshade that, it's the last in this group, it has to connect through this cell, and that puts 4 in a row. So the last deduction is to see we have to take the left and not the right cell here. That now means we can't shade this, so this has to come up for connectivity. All these together need a shaded cell to split them apart, and this needs a shaded cell to keep the rest through without 4 in a row. So a good Friday for a starter pack week puzzle, some rich different kinds of Aqre deductions, but some symmetric cages that lead to some almost symmetric, and thinking the 3 and the 9 with the single cell left values really getting through that. And then some key connectivity, particularly how you can't come through these cells to get the top and bottom fully joined. You have to come through this right side of the big S galaxy shape to get that to happen. And so that connectivity constraint is often what takes you through the hardest Aqre puzzles. So hopefully you learned something by seeing me work through it here. So thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you again soon.